Shalom, more praise to Yahweh Bashim Shah, double line to Apostle GMS. This is Anna Allah coming next another video. And in this video, I want to be going into the Apostle Paul and some history about him being a Roman, a citizen of Rome. But I wanted to go right into it, but I said, you know what? I gotta start from the 21st chapter to give some insight. So let's get right to it. This is Acts chapter 21, verse 1. And it came to pass that after we were gotten from them and had launched from where? When the ship launches, what is it doing? It's setting sail. So we have to see, where was the Apostle Paul setting sail from? Where was he launching from? You got to go to the previous chapter, Acts the 20th chapter, and we're going to go to the 15th verse. Acts 20 and 15. Let's go right to the point. And we sailed thence and came the next day over against Chios. And the next day we arrived at Samos and tarried at Troglium. And the next day we came to Miletus. Miletus was also known as Malta, Malta, for Paul had determined to sail by Ephesus because he would not spend time in Asia, for he hasted, if it were possible, for him to be at Jerusalem the day of Pentecost, because pursuant to Deuteronomy 16:16, there were 3 times out of the year where we were supposed to come before the Lord in Jerusalem. You can read about that in Deuteronomy 16th chapter and the 16th verse. 3 times a year. And from Miletus he sent to Ephesus and called the elders of the church. So when it says he sent to Ephesus, sent like a message or a letter. So Paul is in Miletus or Malta. Okay? That's where he is right now. As a matter of fact, let me go to Miletus to see if it says Malta right there.
Strong's G 3399 Miletus.
Miletus. Okay, it doesn't say Malta right there, but that's what it's talking about. Malta. M-A-L-T-A. You know? So let's go back. So we can go to Acts. Back to Acts 21st chapter. Acts 21 and 1. And it came to pass that after we were gotten from them, and had launched or set sail from Malta or Miletus, we came with a straight course unto Kos, and the day following unto Rhodes, and from thence unto Patara. As a matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read from my Bible, and I'm gonna pull up a map so that we can read exactly what's going on right here, so we can understand it. Okay, so I'm going to read from Acts the 21st chapter in the first verse. Acts 21 and 1. And it came to pass that after we were gotten from them and had launched, we came with a straight course unto Kos. So it came with a straight course unto Kos. Right here is Miletus, and from here they went to Kos. See Kos right here? They went a straight, we came with a straight course unto Kos, and the day following unto Rhodes, and from thence Patara. And from thence unto Patara. So they went from Miletus in a straight course to unto Kos. And the day following they went where? And the day following unto Rhodes, and from thence unto Patara. So they came with a straight course from Miletus unto Kos, and the day following, or the day after, in other words, to Rhodes, and thence they came unto Patara. And finding a ship sailing over unto Phoenicia, we went abroad and set forth. What is Phoenicia? In the scripture right here it says it's spelled Phenicia, but Phoenicia is Phoenicia, or it may say Phoenicia, or Phoenicia. Now, if you watch the show, when I was going into the Syrophoenician woman, she was called a Syrophoenician woman because in 64 BC, under the General Pompey, in 64 the Phoenicia became a part of the Roman province of Syria in 64 BC under General Pompey. Matter of fact, let me pull it up real quick. This right here from Wikipedia, but you can find other places as well. Phoenicia came under the rule of the Roman Republic in 64 BC, which the Roman Republic was before the Roman Empire. Phoenicia came under the rule of the Roman Republic in 64 BC when Pompey created the province of Syria. So in 64 BC, when Pompey created the Roman province of Syria, that was when Phoenicia came under the rule of the Roman Republic. It says, with the exception of a brief period in 36 to 30 BC, when Mark Antony gave the region to Ptolemaic Egypt, Phoenicia remained part of the province of Syria thereafter. So in 64 BC, under the rule of the Roman Republic, when Phoenicia came under the rule of the Roman Republic, Pompey created the province of Syria. Okay, there you go. So Pompey created the province of Syria, and Phoenicia was a part of that province. That's why she was called a Syro-Phoenician woman, because Phoenicia was a part of the Roman province of Syria. Syro-Phoenicia. So let's go back here. It says, and finding a ship sailing over unto Phoenicia, we went abroad and set forth. So they went from Patara over here to Phoenicia. This is Phoenicia. Well, this is the Roman province of Syria. How we know that? Because Antioch is the capital of Syria. And how also do we know it's the area of Phoenicia or Phoenicia? Because it has Tyre right there. Tyre is what? A seaport city in Phoenicia. We left it, it says, now when we had discovered Cyprus, see, we had discovered Cyprus. This is the island of Cyprus right here. You don't see it on a map, but this is Cyprus. How we know that? Let's go to another map. See? Boom. That's Cyprus. So it says, see, it looks the same. Now when we had discovered Cyprus, we left it on the left hand. So the ship was sailing this way. You see where the top of these numbers are? That'll be like Paul's left hand side. So he's on the ship. Cyprus is on the left of him. Okay? We left it on the left hand and sailed into Syria and landed at Tyre. So they sailed into Syria, or they sailed into the Roman province of Syria, and they landed into Tyre, which Tyre is a seaport city in Phoenicia, which is a part of the Roman province of Syria. For there the ship was to unlade her burden. So now I can go back to the blue letter for now. Okay? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to continue on. It says, and finding disciples, because I'm going to have to go back to the map anyway. And finding disciples, we tarried there 7 days, who said to Paul through the Spirit that he should not go up to Jerusalem. And when he had accomplished those days, we departed and went our way. And they all brought us on our way with wives and children, till we were out of the city, and we kneeled down on the shore and prayed. And when we had, see, on the shore, remember, they at the seaport city, Tyre. And when we had taken our leave one of another, we took ship, and they returned home again. And when we had finished our course from Tyre, we came to Ptolemais. So then they went from Tyre to Ptolemais. See the arrow pointing down from Tyre to Ptolemais right there? To Ptolemais. And saluted the brethren and abode with them one day. And the next day, we that were of Paul's company departed and came unto Caesarea. See it right there, Caesarea? And we entered into the house of Philip the evangelist, which was one of the 7, and abode with him. One of the 7 men that was uh appointed to do the daily administration of the of the of the to serve the tables in the book of Acts, the 7th chapter. Okay, you can read about that in the book of Acts, the 7th chapter. Let me go to it real quick just to be sure. No, it's not Acts 7. What's that passage at? Oh yeah, Acts 6. I'm sorry, Acts the 6th chapter and the 5th verse. Okay. So let's continue on. In Acts 21. How long is this? 9 minutes. Okay. It says and the same man had 4 daughters, virgins, which did prophesy. So he was lodging the saints. Philip, he was lodging the saints. And it said this man had 4 daughters which did prophesy, they saw visions. And as we tarried there many days, there came down from Judea a certain prophet named Agabus. Okay, so I can go back to the blue letter now. In fact, I'll go back a little more verses, a few more verses. Named Agabus, and when he was come unto us, he took Paul's girdle and bound his own hands and feet, and said, Thus saith the Holy Spirit, so shall the Jews at Jerusalem bind the man that owneth this girdle, and shall deliver him into the hand of the Gentiles. And when we heard these things, both we and they of that place besought him not to go up to Jerusalem. Then Paul answered, What mean ye to weep and to break mine heart? For I am ready not to be bound only, but also to die at Jerusalem for the name of the Lord Yahushua. So they were saddened by that. They were weeping at that. But Paul said he was ready to be bound and to die for in the name of Yahushua. And when he would not be persuaded, we cease saying, The will of the Lord be done. And after those days, we took our carriages and went up to Jerusalem. So now they're on land. They took their carriage and went to Jerusalem. See Jerusalem right there on that map? There went with us also certain other disciples of Caesarea, and brought with them one Nason of Cyprus, and no disciple with whom we should lodge. So they had this someone a man named Nason, the old disciple, who they lodged with. And we will come to Jerusalem. The brethren received us gladly. So that's good. I can go back to blue letter now. And I want to show you this with another map too. See that? It's another map here. And see how it says Syria, Antioch, just to show you that. And this is known as Paul's third missionary journey. So let's go to back to the blue letter. Okay, so this is Acts 21:17. And when we were come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. And the day following, Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things the Most High had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. So these different elders were present, the apostles, and he saluted them. And he asked, what great things has the Most High worked among the Gentiles? And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord. He declared the great thing that the Most High had done, the great works the Most High had done among the Gentiles, which are the Israelite foreigners, by the Apostle Paul's ministry. So by the Apostle Paul going around teaching, he's declaring to the apostles the great things the Most High worked among the Gentiles, among the Israelite foreigners. Oh, the Most High did this, and the Most High did that. He's telling all the different people that woke up. Oh, he had people from over here, people from over here. He's telling them all of these stories. That's why this book is called the Acts of the Apostles, about the different acts that they did. And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord and said unto him, Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law. And they are informed of thee that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after their customs. So they was going around claiming that the Apostle Paul was telling them, oh, they're saying that these are the claims against you, Paul. They're saying that you're telling these Israelite foreigners to forsake the law of Moses, which the Apostle Paul never taught that. He never told them that. He never told them to forsake the law of Moses. He told them that we're not justified by the works of the law. We're not justified by the works of the law anymore. The law of Moses doesn't justify us. We're justified through faith in Yahushua. Okay? So they was going around making railing accusations against the Apostle Paul. That's why, let me get the scripture real quick. Romans 3:7. For if the truth of the Most High have more abounded through my lie unto his glory, why yet am I also judged as a sinner? So if y'all going around claiming I'm spreading these lies, why is the truth of the Most High abounding? Why is it increasing? And if that's the case, then why y'all judging me as a sinner? If I'm lying and these alleged lies you claiming I'm telling is causing the word of the Most High to abound, if it's causing it to increase, why am I being judged as a sinner? You claiming I'm spreading lies, but the lies you claim I'm spreading, the masses are coming in and they're believing, they're waking up to this truth. So why are you even calling me a sinner then? If these alleged lies is causing the masses to come in and believe. And not rather, as we be slanderously reported, and as some affirm that we say, they were being slandered. When you slander someone, you're spreading lies or deceit, or you're putting shame upon someone's good name, good name. It says not rather, Let us, as we be slanderously reported, and as some affirm that we say, let us do evil that good may come, whose damnation is just. So they was claiming the Apostle Paul saying, let us do evil that good may come. In other words, you don't got to keep the law and you'll receive salvation. The Apostle Paul was never saying that to do that evil of not keeping the law, so that the goodness of salvation be brought upon you. He said, we're not justified by the works of the law, and if you believe in Yahweh based upon faith, then salvation will come upon you. Whose damnation is just. So those going around claiming that the Apostle Paul is lying, the Apostle Paul is saying their destruction is just. So let's go back. That is a quick example. So it says, and also you had the situation in Acts 15 chapter going into the whole aspect of the circumcision as well. That was another situation that went into, which the Apostle Paul, um, which it was all laid out by the apostles when they went to the elders in Acts 15 chapter about how they would deal with that situation in regards to the circumcision, tell them to abstain from things strangled and idols and so on and so forth. He never taught them that you don't gotta be circumcised. Never told them that you don't gotta keep the law. What is it therefore? The multitude must needs come together, for they will hear that thou art come. Do therefore this that we say to thee. We have 4 men which have a vow on them. Take, and purify thyself with them, and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning thee are nothing, but that thou thyself also walkest orderly and keepest the law. So he said, do these things that everybody that'll be informed of you, they'll know that all those things said about you are nothing. Because these are guys that have a vow on them. Purify yourself with them. So that let everybody know that you're doing these actions, you're among these men, showing that you walk orderly, that you keep the law. As touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols, and from blood, and from strangle, and from fornication. So it said, when it comes to the Gentiles, we observe no such thing. They were never saying nothing about, no, you don't got to be circumcised. They never observed that. You go back to Acts 15 chapter, they speak on that. Continuing on, then Paul took the men the next day, purifying himself with them, entered into the temple, to signify the accomplishment of the days of purification. See, to signify the accomplishment of the days of purification, so that people could see these things and say, oh, well, these men got a vow on them, and Apostle Paul is among them, purifying himself with these men, so he must be a man that walketh orderly. So certainly these claims made against him can't be true. See? Until that an offering should be offered for every one of them. But then here it is, here's what happened. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews which were of Asia, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on him, crying, Men of Israel, this is the man that teacheth all men everywhere against the people and the law in this place, and further brought Greeks also into the temple, and had polluted this holy place. So then they go and claim that the Apostle Paul brought Greeks into the temple and polluted this holy place. Now, I want to get into that, but I'm gonna get into that on the next episode, um the next part. So with that, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna say, oh, praise you. How about Shemel Shah? Double line to the Apostle GMS. I hope you learn something. Shalom.